as we had discussed the last time, any number, if it has to have digit 0, that means it has to have a prime number 5 as its factor. Only if it has 5 in its prime factors can that number have a digit 0, can it end with the digit 0. In this case, there is no 5. Because there is no 5, it can never end with 0. Because there is no 5, it can never end with 0. You're going to give that reason. You say, for any number to end with digit 0, it should have 5 as its prime factor. It should have 5 as its prime factor. And we already know by fundamental theorem of arithmetic that the factorization of any number is unique. The prime factorization of any number is unique except for the order. So you can have 3 raised to n into 2 raised to n. But since there is no 5 in this, therefore it cannot end with digit 0. Since 6 raised to n does not have 5 as its prime, therefore 6 raised to n will not end with digit 0 for any n. That means n can have any value, 1, 121, 531, any value n can have. You can take that many, but it will never end with 0 because it does not have 5 as its prime. Are we clear? Because it does not have 5 as its prime. Done with this? Any other query? Otherwise, we'll start with irrational numbers. If you have any query, please ask. If not, then let's begin with irrational numbers. Of course, for that, before that, how we are going to prove that the numbers are irrational and all those things. Okay. So we will see that also. For that, we are going to see one theorem first, okay, which I'll explain over here in terms of numbers. They've given it to you in the textbook in terms of period, A and all those things. I'll explain it to you in terms of simple numbers. We'll first understand that, then we will prove why root 2 is irrational, why root 3 is irrational and all those things. That we will prove a little later. Okay, we'll prove that a little later. Can I erase this? Anybody is copying it? Okay, so I can erase it. Fine. So as I was saying, any number, okay, let's look at any number first, which divides a square of a number. So first let's take 6 square. 6 square is 36. 6 square is 36. Okay, 6 square is 36. Here, clear? Now let's take some number, some prime number, not any number, prime number, which divides 36. Now 36 is divisible by 2, it's divisible by 4, it is divisible by 3, it is divisible by 9. But when we say prime number, this is divisible by 2 and 3. So 36 is divisible by 2 and 3. These are prime numbers. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is, pay attention. If this 2 can divide 36, then 2 will also divide the square root of that. That is its square root. That is 6. 3 divides 36, 3 will also divide 6. 3 will also divide 6. Is that clear? If a prime number divides the square of a number, if a prime number divides the square of a number, that same prime number is also going to divide the square root of that number. For any this thing you can take. Let's take 8 square. 8 square is 64. Correct? Now prime factors of 64 are only 2. So 2 divides 64, 2 also divides 8. Let's take 5 square. Factors of 25 are 5 into 5 divides 25, 5 also divides 5. 5 divides 25, 5 also divides 5. Okay. Let's take 15 square. 225. 225. What are the factors of 225? Factors of 225 are 3 and 5. Those are the prime factors. So 3 divides 225. 3 also divides 15. 5 divides 225. 5 also divides 15. Are we clear? Are we clear with this? Or any doubts still here? This is important. Once we understand this, this is what we are going to use to prove that the numbers are irrational. So if this is clear, then we are going to prove that how the numbers are irrational. So are we clear? If a number divides a square, then that number also divides the square root. Of course, it has to be a prime number. If a prime number divides the square of a number, if a prime number divides the square of a number, then the prime number also divides the square root of that number. Is that clear? If a prime number divides the square of a number, then the prime number also divides the square root of that number. Or divides that number. Square hai to? No. So let's write down this theorem. Prove नहीं करना है ये आपको, सिर्फ आपको लिखना है. So please take down. Let P be a prime number. Let P be a prime number. Let P be a prime number. If P divides A, let P be a prime number. If P divides A, let P be a prime number. If P divides A, sorry, if P divides A square, not A. Let P be a prime number. If P divides A square, small a, small letter A. If P divides A square, let P be a prime number. If P divides A square, then P divides A. Okay, I'll repeat the theorem again. Let P be a prime number. If P divides A square, if P divides A square, then P divides A, where A is a positive integer. Let P be a prime number. If P divides A square, then P divides A, where A is a positive integer. Are we clear? What it means is this. If 3 divides 225, which is square of 15, then 3 also divides 15. If 5 divides 25, which is a square of 5, 5 also divides 5. If 2 divides 64, which is square of 8, 2 also divides 8. That is all that it says. Let P be a prime number. If P divides A square, then P divides A, where A is a positive integer. Okay. Now, keeping this in mind, we are going to prove how root 2, root 3, root 5, these are irrational numbers. Okay. Last year we had learned that these are irrational numbers. because they cannot be expressed in the form P upon Q. So they are irrational numbers. But now we are going to prove it with the help of this theorem that we have done just now. Okay. So let's prove root 2 is irrational. Let's prove root 2 is irrational. This is going to be an indirect proof or by contradiction. This is going to be an indirect proof or proof by contradiction. What is it? We have to prove root 2 is irrational. Prove that root 2 is irrational. Now, as I said, we are going to prove this by indirect method or by contradiction. So we will say, let us assume to the contrary that root 2 is rational. Let us assume, just an assumption, to the, let us assume to the contrary that, let us assume to the contrary that root 2 is rational. Let us assume it is rational for the time being. Okay, for the moment, let us assume that it is rational. Now we know every rational number can be expressed in the form P upon Q or R upon S. Okay, so we will say, now because root 2 is rational, so we can find integers R and S. So we can find integers R and S not equal to 0. We can find integers R and S not equal to 0 such that root 2 equals to R upon S. Such that root 2 equals to R upon S. Till here clear? Basic thing that we are saying. We are saying let us assume root 2 is rational. Let us assume. मान लेते हैं, चलो मान दिया root 2 rational है. अगर rational है, so it can be expressed in the form P upon Q. By definition, a rational number is a number which can be expressed as P upon Q, where Q is not equal to 0. So now root 2 is rational. So we can find integers R and S, where S is not equal to 0, such that root 2 equals to R upon S. Okay. Now, sometimes it can happen that R and S both have something common. For example, it is 6 upon 4. That means 2 is common. Or 9 upon 3, 3 is common. Or 15 upon 3, 15 upon 5. Something is common. So if it is common, then we will remove that. So we say, suppose R and S have a common factor other than N. Suppose R and S have a common factor other than 1. Suppose R and S have a common factor other than 1. If that is the case, divide by that common factor. Then we divide by the common factor when we divide by the common factor. Now, when we divide by the common factor to get, what do we get? Root 2 is equal to A upon B. Root 2 is equal to A upon B, where A and B are co-primes. where A and B are co-primes. Co-primes meaning they do not have anything other than 1 in common. They do not have anything other than 1 in common. Okay, so where A and B are co-primes. What I would suggest is copy it here, then we'll proceed further. और यहाँ तक क्या नहीं समझा है, okay, ये जो भी हमने statements लिखे हैं इसमें क्या नहीं समझा है वो पूछ लो, so that we can move further. Okay, so what it means is the two numbers A and B, they are co-prime. For example, any two numbers you can take where there is nothing common but 1. It does not mean that both of them are prime. Huh? It does not mean that both of them are prime. What it means is there is nothing other than 1 common to them. For example, they could be 3 and 4. So 4 is not a prime number, but 3 and 4 are called co-primes because they do not have anything other than 1 in common between them. Okay. Similarly, 5 and 12, they can also be called co-primes. So one number is prime, the other is not. That is what it says. When they have nothing in common other than 1. Okay. Finished till here. If you all have finished copying till here, then I'll proceed further. This is very basic. We have said, let us assume it is a rational number. If it is rational, it can be written as P upon Q form or R upon S form, where S is not equal to 0. If R and S have something in common, divide by that common factor. So that common factor is removed. Now nothing is common. So it is upon A upon B. Root 2 equals to A upon B, where A and B have nothing in common. That means they are co-primes. Till you are clear? Now let's understand. Therefore, root 2 equals to A upon B. Therefore, root 2 equals to A upon B. If I bring B this side, it will be B root 2 equals to A. B root 2 equals to A. Then I'm going to square both sides. Squaring both sides. Squaring both sides, I'll get B square 2 equals to A square. B square 2 or 2B square equals to A square. Because this root 2 will become 2 and B will become B square. 2B square equals to A square. 2B square equals to A square. That is B square equals to A square by 2. Therefore, 2 divides A square. Therefore, 2 divides A square. Therefore, 2 divides A square. अभी इसके पहले हमने थ्योरम किया था, if a prime number divides A square, then it will also divide A. Okay, 2 divides A square. Therefore, 2 also divides A. Therefore, 2 also divides A. यहाँ तक कर लो. Therefore, 2 also divides A. Till here clear? We have said till here, so we are done. They are co-primes. So we just bring B this side, so it becomes B root 2 equals to A. Then we square both sides. When we square both sides, B becomes B square, root 2 becomes 2, A square, A becomes A square. That is B square equals to A square upon 2. Now if b square equals to a square upon 2, that means a square is divisible by 2. If a square, that is 2 divides a square. If 2 divides a square, 2 also divides a. अभी theorem किया था हमने, है ना? So चलिए 2 also divides a. 2 divides a square, therefore 2 also divides a. Okay. Now if 2 divides a, I can also say, if 2 divides a, I can also say if 2 divides a square, we can, if 2 divides a, we can say a equals to 2c for some integer c, for some integer c. So we can say, or we can write a equals to 2c for some integer c. A equals to 2c for some integer c. Now, in place of a, I'm going to substitute 2c. In place of a, I'm going to substitute 2c. In place of a, I'm going to substitute 2c. Where I'm going to substitute? In this equation. So what will I get? In place of, so 2b square equals to 2c whole square. 2b square equals to 2c whole square, which is nothing but 4c square. 2b square equals to 4c square. 2 and 2 will cancel. So I'll get b square equals to 2c square. B square equals to 2c square. B square equals to 2c square. Now here we had a square equals to 2b square, isn't it? Or 2b square equals to a square. So we said 2 divides a square. So here we know now 2 divides b square. Same logic. 2 divides b square, or I'll write like this: c square equals to b square upon 2. Therefore, 2 divides b square, and hence 2 also divides b, because if it divides b square, then it has to divide b. Okay, 2 divides b square, and hence 2 also divides b. 2 divides b square, and hence 2 also divides b. Copy till here. After that, there is 2-3 lines that we have to write, that I'll dictate once you all have finished till here. And I think again, when we finish this, we might get disconnected. We'll log in using the same user ID password. If you have finished, please let me know. Done. Abdul Ahad, Lucky. Finished copying, please let me know, then we'll proceed further. There are certain lines that you have to write down, 3 statements. Abdullah, Had, Saki, I'm waiting for both of you. जकी, आपका हो जाए तो बताना, बाकी दोनों का हो गया, सिर्फ आपके लिए रुके हैं अभी हम. Okay, so all of you have done good. Before we get disconnected, चलो इतना लिख लो. यहाँ पे लिखा hence 2 also divides B. Therefore, A and B have at least 2 as a common factor. Therefore, A and B have at least 2 as a common factor. Therefore, A and B have at least 2 as a common factor. Therefore, A and B have at least 2 as a common factor. Therefore, A and B have at least 2 as a common factor. Yeah, I'll erase this. Therefore, A and B have at least 2 as a common factor. But